Hello, my darlings. This video is for all my cherry lovers. I'm sure you guys already know if you watch me for a while. If you don't, please subscribe. I am a massive fan of cherry fragrances to the point that I have released my own cherry fragrance with Navitus Parfum, Venom of Love. And this, I'm not gonna lie, this is my number one cherry, but this is definitely more of a autumn winter scent because not only it's super potent and dense, it's also quite gourmand leaning because of chocolate and almonds and a lot of liquor. This is definitely a powerhouse. So I just want to briefly mention it because of course it's my favorite cherry, but today I would like to focus more on summer appropriate cherry fragrances. So things that are a little bit lighter than Venom of Love, or even if they are dense and heavy, they're not as gourmand leaning and sweet and intense as Venom, which to me is actually all the good stuff that Venom has, the denseness, the way how it smells and how potent it is and how sweet it is. But for summertime, I know it can be too much. So we gonna today focus on cherries that are more summer appropriate. So let's go ahead and jump right in. But of course, Venom of Love is my favorite cherry. I'm not gonna lie. It's just phenomenal. Now, I have a lot of perfect daytime cherries, but also things that are a little bit heavier towards Venom of Love side, but are a little bit better for summertime because they're not like gourmand chocolate heavy, not as almondy, you know what I mean? So they're a little bit more summer appropriate. And if not for daytime, they're gonna be perfect for nighttime. So yeah, let's start with that. Let's start with those heavier cherries. First one is Mula Rouge Extreme from Byron, and this is a dense heavy fragrance but still lighter than Venom of Love. This is way more lifted up when it comes to the notes because in the opening it has strawberry, raspberry and cherry. So as you can see, the whole opening is lighter and fruitier and more summer appropriate. Then you have caramel, ginger, that also gives you a little bit of not only tang but also a little bit of freshness. And also it has a rose bay willow herb, whatever that is. I do not come across that note, that plant, a lot in perfumes, but here we go. The dry down is quite heavy, but again, not as heavy and dense and thick and sweet as Venom. But we do have some agarwood, we do have vanilla, we do have patchouli, and we do have sandalwood. And I really love the scent. Do I love it more than Mula the original? I'm not sure. But if I want something more cherry oriented and I still want that Mula feeling, that caramel oud twist, then this is perfect. Now this one again is not as sweet, not as gooey as Venom of Love, so it's gonna be way more appropriate for summer, specifically summer nights. So yeah, I highly recommend it. It is a powerhouse, but a little bit less, you know, thick. It's still a dense fragrance, but not as dense as Venom of Love. So here's the first summer cherry. This is more for a nighttime, but if it's not too hot, you can even pull it off during the daytime, in my opinion. So that's Mula Rouge Extreme. The next one that is a newer fragrance in my collection and I really love it. It's more of a rose cherry with a little bit of almond. It's just phenomenal. And this is Queen of Hearts from Fragrance World. And this is a dupe for La Petite Renoir Rose. There are like 5 types of roses in here. In the opening, you've got cherry and wild berries and bergamot and almond. And in the base, you've got some anise, you have tonka, you have vanilla, and you have iris. So mainly, this is a rose, cherry, berry fragrance with an iris, vanilla, tonka dry down. And again, this one is even lighter and even more daytime appropriate comparing to Mula, or even, I don't know. I think they have like very similar denseness and thickness, if you know what I mean. They're quite equally sweet, not too sweet of fragrances, but there still is some sweetness and they're fruity. This one is, though, for all my rose lovers. If you want a beautiful combination between cherries and berries and roses, then this is great. And of course, it's a fraction of a price comparing to Guerlain. What's more important is that Mon Guerlain Rose specifically is very hard to find. I don't even know if they make it anymore. And here we have a perfect one-to-one almost alternative. You still have that La Petite Bourgeois DNA, but way more rosy, way more uplifting. You know, the original La Petite Bourgeois is very thick and it has a lot of licorice. This one is not like that. It's more of a powdery iris with a lot of rose and cherry. So yeah, Queen of Hearts, phenomenal for summer evenings, date nights. It's just amazing. The next fragrance, should we do the nights out first? Maybe, yeah, huh? Since we are in more like nighttime genre of cherries for summer, let's do another one that's more like evening wear. You still can pull it off during the daytime. Again, it's not as dense, not as thick, but I would say it's very sexy and it's perfect for evenings. And that is Eve Goes Eden from Phill. And this is a beautiful cherry, violet, and leather. Don't be afraid of the leather. Yes, it is here, but it's done so beautifully with that violet that's almost like a candy powdery violet, and that cherry with the leather. It makes a gorgeous combination. Gorgeous combination. It is long lasting. Many people compare it to Bibliothèque from Byredo. I wouldn't agree that much, but I would say it's super, super sexy and it's not too thick. It's not too dense. So it's very good for summer, especially the nights. So yeah, if you like that sweet, powdery violet, it's kind of that same violet that you get in Oud Satin Mood from MFK. It's that kind of violet. But here, you have it with cherry and leather. So it's sweet but not too sweet. It's dense but not too dense. Just perfect for summer evenings. So that's Eve Goes Eden. Very, very sexy cherry fragrance. I really, really love it. The next one that's a little bit similar, and again, very much summer appropriate. This one I easily wear during the day because it's even more like less dense. That is Cherry Punk from Room 1015, and for Room 1015 I do have discount code that you can use if you are interested. This is cherry, saffron, and pepper. Then you again have some violet and mimosa and jasmine. So as you can see, the notes are more fresh, more floral, more uplifting, comparing to Eve Goes Eden. Eve Goes Eden is more simple. And in the dry down, you've got leather, tonka, and patchouli. And this one I really, really love, even for summer days. It's a very juicy, very sweet cherry. You have a lot of that saffron that gives you transparency to the composition. There's also mimosa and jasmine, and again violet. I love that sweet floral touch. It's so, so nice. And then you do have leather and tonka and patchouli. But I think this one, like, I easily go with it during the summer days, even if it's hot. Even when it's hotter outside, I still wear it for the day. With Yves Goes Eden, I think it's more like powdery, even more leathery. So I reserve it for the nights out. Cherry Punk is a bit more daytime appropriate. I personally really love it. There's also Extrait de Parfum from this same fragrance that I also own. But I would say for summer, stick to the original, I guess. So yeah, Cherry Punk, very nice cherry fragrance. If you love slightly smoky but not too dense of a cherry, that's very long lasting, and this is a nice sweet juicy cherry here. I really love it. So if you love that, then you will love this. So that is Cherry Punk. Okay, I have quite a bit more of fragrances to show you, so stick with me, my darlings. The next one, that's like borderline daytime and nighttime for me. If it's boiling hot, maybe I would again reserve it for nights out, but it's nowhere near as thick as Venom of Love, I'll be honest here. So it's still very much appropriate for the summer. And that is Siréne from Fragrance du Bois. I love this fragrance. It's very beautiful. Again, it's cherry and pepper. Then you have some lactones and oud and incense. And in the base you have benzoin, some narigotha, labdanum and moss. And this to me is a beautifully done cherry. Beautifully done. You definitely get incense and benzoin. You do get that milky, almost like milkshake facet. You know, the lactones combined with that cherry gives you like a milkshake kind of a feeling. It's sweet, but again, not too sweet. It has some, even though it's a denser scent for sure, it has some nice airiness as well. Yeah, it's very beautiful. And for me, it does have that signature Fragrance du Bois smell that you can smell in Cavort or you can smell in Oud Rose Intense. There is some DNA of the brand in here, definitely. However, it's not as prominent as with their other fragrances. So it's very beautiful. It's feminine, but I would say leaning unisex. Even though the bottle is pink and girly and beautiful, I would still consider it a unisex fragrance. But if you are a cherry lover, then you absolutely have to at least try it. So yeah, that's Siréne from FDB. The next fragrance that I have, and I do not have a full bottle, but I have a fragrance that looks exactly the same, just so you know how it looks. The next one is from Sospiro and it's Maraschino, and that's the bottle. This one is actually Traviata, but it is the same collection and the bottle looks exactly the same. I do not have the fragrance because it's actually quite hard to get and it's been sold out everywhere. Even the brand that I recently started working with, Sospiro, even they couldn't send it to me because it was out of stock in their warehouse. So if you can get your hands on this, I would highly suggest getting your hands on this because it's beautiful. And this is definitely a step away from denser fragrances. This is your appropriate daytime fragrance, in my opinion. This is your full-on daytime summer cherry. And this is, of course, cherry. Then you have strawberry, peach, apple, and almond. Then you have jasmine, heliotrope, mimosa, orris, and rose. And in the dry down, you've got some musk, sandalwood, vanilla, a little bit of vetiver, tonka bean, amber, and patchouli. So even though the note structure is complex, it's actually very light and simple and quite easy and very effortless, I would say. I went through a couple of samples. I also sniffed it. a lot in Milan, and I really, really loved it. I wanted to get it as soon as possible, but it's apparently not as easy. But yeah, Maraschino is phenomenal. It lasts well. For me, it's mainly a cherry apple vanilla tonka fragrance. It's so good. It's so good. If you want a proper summer cherry, perfect for daytime and even going into the nighttime, then Maraschino is absolutely amazing for that. Okay, another fragrance that's very cherry and I absolutely love it. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous, and it's not that expensive at all. So I highly recommend checking it out. It is Chabaud Caprice de Jeanne. This is their newest fragrance, and again, I smelled it as well in Milan, but thankfully this one I got very quickly after March. And this is your beautiful combination between cherry and oud and raspberry and lychee. Like, you have so many beautiful fruits here. You've got lychee, pepper, pink pepper, pear, mandarin orange, and blackcurrant. Then you have some cashmere wood, raspberry, cherry, flowers, rose, patchouli, and in the dry down, as I said, you have oud, amber, cedar, and musk. And this is absolutely lovely. This is so lovely. Very effortless. It's fruity, but it's not too sweet. It's definitely floral. Very feminine, very feminine. Don't be afraid of oud here, because it's like a perfect balance. The oud is only in the dry down and it just anchors the fragrance so beautifully. Mainly what you're gonna get is raspberry, cherry, a little bit of lychee, and florals. I get pear from time to time, which makes it even more beautiful because I love pear note in fragrances. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I know I'm gonna keep repeating myself that it's so beautiful in this video, but you guys know I love my cherries. So Caprice is a newer fragrance, definitely. It was recently released and it's so worth checking out. Not many people talk about it. And it is a beautiful summer scent. Beautiful summer, fruity floral with main accord of cherry. It's very cherry oriented, but in general, I would categorize it as a fruity floral. So yeah, that's amazing. The next fragrance that I have is so different comparing it to the others that I showed you. This is also quite new. It's Theodoros Kalotinis Cherry Powder. And this is powdery notes, cherry, macaron, and milk. And this is a little bit vintage leaning. Think of like boudoir powder, you know, for the body and the face. It does have that feeling, but the cherry here, it's so good. It's so good. To me, it smells a little bit like lokum, Turkish delight, like cherry flavored Turkish delight with that, you know, sugar powder on top of it. Also, there's like a Bulgarian dessert that's very similar to lokum that smells like that a little bit as well. So to me, it has like gourmand facets, but also makeup-y facets. But all in all, it is very, very easy to wear, but you do have to like more powdery fragrances. It's definitely a very unique fragrance for sure. And it's very long lasting as well. Many people actually do compare it to Maraschino, and I would not really agree. Maraschino is way more fruity, like way more strawberry apple oriented. So not, I would not compare these two. For me, it's like a boudoir powder, you know, like makeup room powder with Turkish delights, and some sweets and some sugar and the cherry. So yeah, but in general, it's a very light fragrance. It's not too thick, so it's actually very nice for summer. So yeah, cherry powder from Theodoros, very good release. It's not like my favorite cherry of all time, but I have to put it in this list because it's very unique and I know that many of you will love it. So that is that. Next, I have a fragrance from my current, like one of my favorite brands currently, and that is Superz Budapest, and they have their own cherry fragrance, which is amazing, and this is Wild Cherry. And I would say out of all these fragrances, this is gonna be the most similar to Lost Cherry from Tom Ford. But for me, first of all, price unbeatable. And I do have a discount code for Superz if you are interested. Yeah, this is a little bit similar to Lost Cherry from Tom Ford, but I think I like it more. Not only because of the price, but also it's not as liquor, it's not as thick almondy. It's more summer appropriate, but I must admit it does have that Lost Cherry vibe, especially when you first spray it. So you have Turkish rose, plum, cherry, sweet notes, vanilla, sandalwood, vetiver, jasmine, tonka, cherry syrup, and other fruits in the composition. And it's really pretty. It's really pretty. It's again not too dense. I would say it's a little bit also similar to Kayali Burning Cherry, but not smoky. It's not smoky at all. And also it's similar a little bit to Lost Cherry from Tom Ford, but it's not liquor almondy at all. Think of that kind of cherry, but replace those almondy liquor facets with more of fruity sweet notes. Yeah, I hope I make sense. Very good performance. Like all Superz fragrances are super nice. Super nice when it comes to performance. So Wild Cherry is another one that's perfect for daytime and going into nighttime during the summertime. For winter, it's gonna be a perfect daytime fragrance as well. It's as much as most of these are perfect all year round, this is like your staple cherry. Like, honestly, this is one of the most cherries that I have here. Yeah, I just hope I'm still being reasonable in what I'm saying to you. I'm just trying to explain how they smell the best as I can. But yeah, this is like the most cherry in here. So that's Wild Cherry. The next one that for me is absolutely phenomenal for summertime. This to me is like a summery non-gourmand version of Venom of Love, okay? Because it's very cherry and liquor oriented as well. But then you have a lot of ripe strawberries, and it's 10 out of 10. It's Bohoboco wet cherry liquor. Such a good cherry for summer. This is like summer wine. Strawberries, cherries, and angel's kiss in spring. You know that song? Always reminds me of this fragrance for some reason. Like, it's perfect summer, cherry, boozy, very ripe strawberry of a fragrance. What I mainly get is cherry upon cherry upon cherry and very ripe strawberry juice and some liquor. It's boozy, it's very fruity. You definitely get that caramelized feeling as well. I love it so much. So much. This, honestly, apart from Magic Mushrooms, which is so unique, and Sea Salt Caramel, is my favorite Bohoboco fragrance. If you haven't watched my Bohoboco video, I will link it right here. But yeah, wet cherry liquor, if you love cherry, it is a staple in your collection. You have to have it. You have to have it. So as much as this is like a true cherry, this is like a true cherries and strawberries, like very realistic, very ripe, very sweet, and the liquor makes it like a boozy, almost like summer wine. Yeah, so I love it. I love it. Very good performance on this one as well. So that's for Bohoboco. And I have only 2 left, guys. We are reaching the end. I hope I've been quick enough. I hope you'll still hear. Okay, next one, which is another perfect summer cherry because it is a combination of, again, fruits and florals. And it's very inexpensive. It's just phenomenal. It is Supremacy Tapiz Rouge from Afnan. I've talked about it so much since I got it. This is black cherry, so it's a very sweet cherry. Then you have white peach and lychee, which both notes are very uplifting and summer appropriate and fun and girly. Then you have some plum, jasmine, mahonia, and rose. And in the dry down, you've got some cloves, peony, which is not only a floral, but also gives you quite an aquatic facet, and some vetiver. And for me, it's like a summer version of Duquesa from Gritty. Like, the notes are super similar. And this is just its summer version. That's how it is for me. If you know Duquesa from Gritty, it's a phenomenal cherry fragrance, but it's just as heavy and dense like Venom of Love. So for summertime, I highly suggest... Oh yes. I highly suggest getting Tapiz Rouge. This is cherry, this is peach, lychee, and gorgeous peony dry down. I love it. It's amazing. So that's from Afnan. And last but definitely not least is the most refreshing, summer appropriate, very floral of a fragrance. It's like a citrus floral, and it doesn't have typical cherry per se. It has cherry blossom, and I love it so much. It lasts for about 5 to 6 hours max, but it's very handy to even have it in your purse, so I don't mind respraying at all. And this is Ormonde Jayne's Sakura, and this is such a gorgeous cherry blossom fragrance, guys. This is green notes, bergamot, pink pepper, lime, coriander, and mandarin orange. Then you have your cherry blossom, cyclamen, osmanthus, freesia, water lily, violet, and rose. And then in the dry down, you've got cedar, sandalwood, musk, amber, vanilla, and tonka. Again, not super extra potent and, you know, in your face. This is more of a typical summer everyday fragrance that's refreshing, that's very easy. This is definitely the least cherry, but if you are looking for something that just has a hint of cherry, and it's mainly a citrusy floral, then this is gonna be perfect. Of course, Sakura, cherry blossom, it's like Japan during the peak season. It's so good. So good. It's beautiful, aquatic, refreshing, watery, floral, quite sweet, quite citrusy, with this beautiful Sakura note. So yeah, this is the most, you know, far from a typical cherry out of this video, but it is so worth checking out. And this is summer in a bottle. I would not wear it any other time than summer. So yeah, Ormonde Jayne's Sakura, so good. And that is it for today, my darlings. I know it could have been a very long video, I think. Yeah, we're over 30 minutes. I'm so sorry, guys, but I hope you still enjoyed it and you found your perfect summer cherry, whether it's the nighttime one that you've been looking for or the daytime one. I think I've got you covered. So yeah, all the discount codes, if I have any, will be linked below, along with other fragrances, of course, as usual. So yeah, thank you so much for watching once again, and see you in my next one. Bye!